PPE was critical to everything we understand about managing a pandemic.
Going to nursing school and medical school, PPE is like inherent in what we do every day, but this was completely taken to a different level, and so we had to manage not only the routine circumstances, but what are all the other circumstances in which we needed to employ PPE.
I would absolutely agree, and I think one of the other key factors was just partnering with other organizations outside of NMC, in particular those folks on the West Coast that identified early on that conservation was a key factor in PPE.
Yeah, and we were lucky to have, you'll hear in a bit, a lot of our staff have gone down to the National Training Center to get education on that PPE and to use it in situations like this that we never thought we would have to, but we had those people on staff, and so combining those people with that knowledge of what was happening out on the West Coast, I think put us in a situation that we felt better prepared for.
In this segment, you will begin to see that there are 3 individuals who particularly had a key role in managing PPE at NMC.
My role was operations clinically, was really my main focus, and specifically on the inpatient side of things. We were fortunate that we were able, Dina, the CNO, had arranged a call with some hospitals on the West Coast in Washington State and Oregon. And Washington was one of the first states that really had experienced the difficulties of going through COVID-19 and how taxing it is on the system. So we spoke with their infection prevention personnel, and I believe it was their chief nursing officers. And it was basically lessons learned up to that point that they had learned. And what really stuck with me in one of the conversations was their infection preventionist at one of the hospitals was get a handle on your PPE right away. So that, for whatever reason, really shook me.
I am the Emergency Management and Safety Coordinator for Northwest Medical Center. My responsibilities range from emergency preparedness, preparing for things like a pandemic, to security, to overall safety for the institution. We went into conservation mode during that time, and I just want to take a minute and talk a little bit about that. That was because we were doing our due diligence and hearing and seeing what was happening in Italy and China, in Washington and New York. And as it crept towards us, that's when we started taking conservation measures just in case.
Being part of the emergency preparedness team has afforded me the opportunity to travel with a team of peers from Northwestern Medical Center to go to Anniston, Alabama for the Center of Domestic Preparedness FEMA training. I've been 3 times and have been segued into some pretty extraordinary emergency preparedness training, which was a perfect opportunity to use all my training when COVID hit. You will have the best success in having an observer program to keep your employees healthy and safe. And then COVID came to town, and that bell went off again, that it was the most important thing to do was to keep our people safe, and then we could keep our community safe.
Never ever would any of us think, oh, I'm going to be asked to reuse a mask in my practice or even a gown. You know, that's like unheard of.
It was recognized that we too would be affected by COVID. I was provided the opportunity to lead the PPE observer team. We came together and I was able to help put together protocols, processes, and then roll them out and oversee our PCU West unit with the PPE team.
We were prepared very well. And why were we prepared very well? My predecessors did an outstanding job. This dates back to 2008, 9, 10, when there were threats of pandemics back in that time period. And we were able to purchase through grant funding, through the federal government, enough PPE to meet the needs of what that threat was at that time. In addition to that, we were able, through the years of hospital grant funding, supplement that and increase that and purchase more up-to-date equipment. So going into COVID-19 in 2019 and 2020, we had a sufficient amount of protective equipment.
Chris Reinfurt, he's our emergency preparedness leader. He has always had a stockpile. He's always been kind of ahead of the game, getting good inventories, keeping inventories of what we had in different locations throughout the organization. So when we started off, the first thing we did was we met Chris in one of his stockpiles. It was a Saturday morning when we all went up and found Chris back there and started going through what we have, where we need it, and how we're gonna get it there. So we felt very comfortable and safe just being able to be hands-on in the moment, being able to inventory and re-inventory what we had. So that was really a powerful time in making everything feel like, okay, we're ready, let's get this started.